Hello friends, today we have with us another amazing personality. She is a medical doctor and serving officer in Indian Army. She is the only third person in Indian Army to get 3-star rank. Undoubtedly, she is my role model. She is none other than Madhuri Kanitkar. Dr. Kanitkar, welcome to the discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Abhay. It's a pleasure being with you today.
So, madam, you are from clinical background and currently civilian medical fraternity are considered to be frontline COVID warriors. So, ma'am, how army clinicians are actually working shoulder to shoulder with civilian clinicians to fight this battle?
I think this is a war. It's not just a small battle, it's a war. And in this, the whole nation has come across as one. I think that I have never seen a situation where entire fraternity, doctors, healthcare workers, administrators, scientists, everyone is coming together, and therefore the medical fraternity has come up from the armed forces has come up in full measure. In fact, I always say that during a war, in this situation, you need a soldier, you need a doctor, and you need people to teach or explain things to the people. So you need a teacher, and I think we doctors in uniform have a 3-in-1 role because we follow all. We wear the uniform. We are soldiers, we are doctors, and we are teachers. So I think this gives us an added advantage, and the armed forces has closely liaised with all civil authorities and the NDMA to provide. We have our army chief has assured 28 hospitals have been earmarked as COVID hospitals, and they will come to the aid of all civil administration whenever required. The second thing is, even when first lot of people came in from abroad, needed quarantine, the first quarantine facilities were set up by the army. So I mean, in this there is no army and civil. We are Indians, we are one, and the armed forces is always there for all service.
Madam, coming back to your role in army, recently you got promoted to a 3-star general. And it was celebrated that you were the only third woman to get actually promoted to 3-star general rank. So the question is, why less women are actually achieving this feat, and what made you special?
I think it's still a novelty because there are less number of women in 40 years ago or 60 years ago. There were less number of women who were joining the armed forces for two reasons. Firstly, it was more of a male-dominated world, so, and there were ladies were joining only as doctors or nurses. Today, the armed forces has opened up its doors. In fact, is given permanent commission and is given even command recently to women. So we will see more and more women coming up. The second reason was, firstly, the number of percentage of women is overall lesser in the armed forces. We are not more than about 24-25%, and it's a pyramidal structure. In that, most of the women were the short service commission. So lasting for so long and then getting to senior ranks was a rarity. But I can assure you, it was a question of time. And now that the doors have opened up, we will see lots and lots of women reaching the top.
Yes, undoubtedly, army is a tough job, ma'am, and you have survived for so many years in army. So, how you actually maintain this work-life balance, and whether army was really supportive in this maintaining this work-life balance?
See, work-life balance is for everyone. I mean, it's got not
Yeah,
only in the
even
army, males, females, everyone has to find out, and we'll come to that in a while, because I think a lot of times we blame too much to the work or too much to the life. It is for us to choose our and prioritize. Having said that, as far as my own this, I think it was tough because in those days we did, when I joined, there, it was not like a policy that there will be spouse co-location. And our 36 years of marriage, we were posted together only 12 years. 24 years, we were always posted different. So most people probably would, those circumstances would make you give up. But I think in that I was a little lucky that I had tremendous support from my husband. Whenever he could not come, sometimes my in-laws, sometimes my parents. So this kind of family and friends, in fact, not just family, even friends, a lot of times when I was alone, colleagues would come in and help out. So the environment, the organization was not so women friendly, but the environment was extremely safe, extremely congenial, and very helpful. And now the organization has also become women friendly. I'm giving simple examples. I mean, we never had something like childcare leave. Today, they're getting childcare leave. Maternity leave, from no maternity leave, by the time I was there, we got 2 months. Today, it is 6 months. So, it is becoming more and more women friendly. Most of the times people are helped out with a spouse co-location, especially if both belong to the same core or service. So I think it is becoming easier, and I think but at the same time, I think it's for the women also. Any organization cannot continuously keep giving. You have to give back. So the woman also has to become tougher and say, yes, look, I am lucky. I'm in a safe environment. I'm respected. I'm honored. So what can I do? I will become tough and I can handle this. So I think an attitude is also very important.
Madam, when it comes to army, there is a lot of always debate about this women role, what you rightly said. Then whether women should be put in combat roles. So, ma'am, what is your take? Whether women are ready now to get into combat roles?
I think what is important is not just the women. It's always when you clap, you need two hands. When you shake hands, you need two hands. It has to be both sided. The organization and the woman. The woman has to make her way, and the organization has to line that path to make it easier. And I think that is what is happening. So you can't suddenly put a woman in a combat role because the hardships, the problems, but at the same time, you cannot envisage all the problems that will arise. You have to cross the bridge as you reach it. So I think a time has come where this actions are being taken. For the, it doesn't directly affect us because the medical service, we've been there for so long. We've always worked shoulder to shoulder, and frankly, I've never really felt. I think now when people like you, everyone's asking a woman is the first time, this kind of a stereotyping. Otherwise, there was never a question of a gender coming in the way. So, but having said that, I think what the organization is doing is not pushing it and jumping to it, but going in a gradual way. So I think that is something which will help the women, and the organization will also benefit because there is a shortage of officers. So finally, it is not a gender but a capability. So you have to come up to the mark, and the organization has to accept you. So it's a both way.
So, madam, as Chief Innovation Officer, I'll speak to large number of youngsters, even girls also. And whenever I talk to them about their career aspirations and things like that, they are very keen on getting into an industry like software industry, get a good job, have a more peaceful life. Many of them are not very actually keen on getting into organizations like Army or Navy or Air Force. So, ma'am, what is your take and what you will say to these youngsters?
I'll tell them that firstly, you know, it was a very old concept. There were very stereotyped roles. There were very gender-based roles, and I mean, if you were intelligent, you took science. If you took science, you have to do either medicine or you have to do engineering. I mean, these are very, what I would call it, gizapita.
Yes.
So I think today's youngsters, I think they are way ahead of us. They have information, they have knowledge, and they have to use that to make wise decisions. And in life, I think they are, if they need help, they should consult, they should talk to people, they can search, they can find colleagues, they can go to role models, they can look up things. But more important is to what do I want? I mean, is it just to make money? Today, if you are just even a school graduate and get a call center job, I think you can make enough money to sit at home and be comfortable. So that aspiration and ambition is what is more important. It doesn't matter whether you join the army or you go and join the corporate world, or you become a software, or you decide to go in for fine arts and you decide to just play music or dance. It is your passion. So I feel this is what is, and the young generation is capable, but probably needs a little guidance, because, and I don't think the older generation is fully equipped to even advise the younger generation, because you can advise on only what you know. So therefore, it is for them, who are far more informed than we were, to make a wise decision. And I like to use their lingo. When they're lost, na, anyone, when they get lost, we used to put our head out of the car or side stop the scooter and ask, where is the ye rasta kidhar jata hai? Today, no one does that. They all have Google Maps. Everyone finds their way through Google Map. The word is map. So I would tell all the youngsters that in life, get yourself a good map. And my map is different. Map M is for a mentor. I think, and mentor is not, you have faraway people, good autobiographies. They are good to read and learn. Mentor is someone in flesh and blood you look up to, who will listen to you and let you brainstorm. So each one has to find a mentor. Second is attitude. If your attitude is ki, no, I'm very comfortable, I don't want to do, i'm I want to use the same beaten path, that means I'm not seeing my goal at all. I don't have a destination. If I don't have a destination, फिर map की क्या जरूरत है? You don't need. So I think attitude is correct. And in that attitude, if your attitude is that I want to try my things, I want to experiment, then you don't think of only becoming a software engineer or a doctor. You see a goal for yourself and you find it. And the third is passion. In the map, the P is for passion. Anything, even if you have to simply clean up your room, you do it with passion, and anyone who walks in will say, wow, what a neat and orderly well job done. So I think finally the younger generation is highly informed. If they can get a little, each one of them, I will tell each one of them, get yourself a map and you will reach your destination.
Very interesting concept, ma'am.
Huh.
But shifting our discussion more to your experiences, recently I think you were posted in Udhampur, ma'am.
Yes.
And it's a hotbed for terrorist activities. So,
Yes.
what was your experience working in Udhampur, dealing with those locals?
Yes. I think it was amazing. The amazing experience started from the time when I volunteered. I was dean in AFMC and due for a posting out. Went to my own DG, I requested that if I have to move after, I would consider my dean's appointment at my own alma mater as one of those icing on the cake. It was the college which I had joined and had come back as the dean. So after that, I felt any place is not going to give me the challenge and opportunity that the college gave me. So therefore, I thought that I should go to Northern Command, because that is a huge active operational command. And the first response of even my own seniors was that firstly, it's tough. it's not something so easy. It's a field kind of area. You may not be able to mistake. So, and there was no woman who had ever done that before. So, but I was very clear that if I have to, I could see that as my goal, or this, that is something that I must do, because like I said right in the beginning, I considered myself very honored to be serving on the three roles of a doctor, a teacher, and a soldier. And as a doctor, I had gone into pediatric nephrology, gone into research at a very learned, and had sort of been the first in the army to set up a pediatric nephrology unit.
Nephrology
So
unit.
yes, so that was something which was, very, very satisfying. Then as a teacher, I mean, being dean in your own college, I again said, okay, I've reached, and मतलब मैं पहुंच गई वहाँ पे. But as a soldier, I used to always say I'm very proud to wear the uniform, but have I really done combat? Because I did pediatrics. After my initial field posting, I've been in hospitals. So I felt that I've not done true soldiering, and I want to wear my boots and combat dress. And the only way was Northern Command. But having gone there, I think that was the best opportunity. Firstly, I got to actually handle everyday thing. What everyone was reading in newspapers was for me an everyday thing. A mine blast somewhere, a gunshot wound. Was there when the Article 370 was abrogated, and there was so much of things we had to look into. So it was actually seeing ground zero, at ground zero, and it was involving actually the soldiers. I understand their conditions, their problems, the high altitude. I got an opportunity to visit entire from right from the this thing of the valley to Naushera, Akhnur, the complete border areas where even there was firing going on. Then I came down to from Udhampur and entire Leh Ladakh, including Siachen. I visited troops there. So when I saw that, I was impressed with two things. One is actually on ground seeing how difficult those soldiers and how much we as doctors need to do for them. The second thing was I was so impressed to see the young doctors shoulder to shoulder with the soldiers. And I said, my role, my going there is motivating them to do better. And whereas the other young doctors who were just studying for a PG after their MBBS, not even, seeing, here were these young people who they can, for the rest of their lives, they can write stories of how they saved a life from a glacier or an avalanche or a gunshot wound. They were doing real life things, and I could interact with them, motivate them. I think it was the most thrilling experience after having been dean. So I would put that as a very, very lucky and a great opportunity for me to give back to the organization as well as learn and come back wiser.
Madam, I would like to discuss your Udhampur experience in bit more detail. Whether any time you felt that uh, your life is in danger, although you are working at a very safe army camp, or you may not see next day.
Hmm.
So whether you went through any of those
Yeah.
kind of stresses?
No, I think it was never something so serious that I would not see the next day, and I was never scared that way. But yes, there were situations which, I mean, if you, in the true sense, you do feel that they are a little dangerous. I'll give you an example. When I was touring the valley, and I actually went to the places, Pulwama, and stood there, and I saw that that area is broad daylight main highway, and it's something so shocking that people will get blown off on situation like that. Or when we were traveling, there were those buns which were called, and there were no vehicles on the road, and you actually start getting a little uncomfortable. and you feel so sad that this is my country. It is the most beautiful part of my country. And as it starts getting dark, because in the valley, even those, I mean, there are continuous what we call the patrolling duties which go. And after 6 in the evening, they are not full time patrolling and this. So at that, or when you have those, they're like almost armored vehicles which are moving up and down, and you kind of feel a little sad that we are in such a situation. So similarly, when I was traveling, I went to all those areas of Sopor and Wada and the complete. Uh, I had to return back to Srinagar, and having visited so many units, and it got late. Got almost 8 o'clock at night, and I mean it was a very uncomfortable feeling, because there was this one car which was carrying me. So somewhere in my mind, I did think. I said, "Oh my God, am I doing the correct thing am I taking risks? Beyond thing traveling at night in a vehicle." So there was that somewhere a little bit of fear, but at the same time, I was feeling very upset. More than fear, I was feeling upset that this is my country. I'm a officer in uniform, and if I have to worry about traveling, what is happening to our common people? I mean, it's just so unfair. That was something which was there. There was a second incident where I thought I will never make it, because Udhampur is not very well connected, so I have to come first by road up to Jammu, and then from there I take a flight to Delhi, and then from Delhi somewhere else wherever I wanted to. So I had to reach somewhere, and for that I had to take that afternoon 3:30 flight. There was only one Air India flight in the afternoon, which was 3:30, which has to 3:40, which reaches Delhi. And it normally takes about, keep around 2 hours to drive from Udhampur to Jammu. And so we worked backward and said 1.5 hours is enough. So I should leave by 1 o'clock. And 12 o'clock, and it was a very important meeting I took. 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 12:50, I got a message that there is a mob, there is some killing which has occurred, and the main highway has been closed, and they are not permitting any, even with a pilot, with my protection, security, there's no way I can cross it. So then at that minute I was like, how do I reach Delhi? I tried to find out if I can get a helicopter. The army helicopter could take me to Jammu, but it was pouring cats and dogs, and in that bad weather, flying was not possible. So in that situation, I said, what else? Then they said that there is a third route by Dharmon, goes in through the mountains, and it takes 1 hour more. So I looked at the watch, it was 12:15. I said that means I will probably by 3:15 I can reach, and 3:40 is the flight. I said, at the most, I'll take that. Otherwise, then I'll try and take a night train from Jammu. And I just got into the car, and I don't know how, and it was a bad road, pelting rain, and I continued because I think I have to reach, and literally 3:15, I drove into the airport, no time, straight into the aircraft and did it. So there are where there's a will, you don't think, then you're not scared, you're not worried, you have to do the job and you just do it.
So, ma'am, you might have interacted with youth there as a doctor, uh, and the psyche there is a bit different from a psyche which is prevailing in other parts of the country. What difference you see, and whether we can do anything to actually make those sentiments pro-India?
Absolutely. I think youth is the same everywhere. And a youth looks forward to a future. They have dreams, they have aspirations. So the youth of Jammu and Kashmir is no different. So I think we need to integrate them as fast as possible with the rest of the youth. So they can, at the moment, they're just seeing things on TV. Whereas I think they have to be able to move the same way freely. Our children should go there. Having said that, I think the army is doing some very good work over there. I was not directly involved with the youth, but through we have schemes called Sadbhavana. So through that we run health camps. We're also running, the army is running schools and other vocational training centers for the women, for the youth and children over there. So I must share one small story about how opportunities make a difference. When I was traveling through areas in Rajouri and those, the forward locations, there's one place particularly, Bhimgali, I went to that post, and the brigadier there, he said, "Ki, Madam, I am so happy you have come, and I must introduce you to my medical officer. For this entire year, this young lady has been the only woman to be posted here, but she has been a huge asset. And because of her, I've had to start a girls' wing of the NCC in the village." So I said, "How did this happen?" He said, "Because this girl, besides looking after the patients and sick care, there were for 6 months I did not have a chemistry teacher in a Sadbhavana school, and she volunteered to go and teach chemistry to all the children." And she said not only did it started with that, then she herself was into karate, so she started teaching karate. And the girls in the school got so motivated, they started playing hockey, they started playing basketball. And you ask any girl in the village, she tells, you ask her what you want to, she says, "I want to wear the uniform and become an officer." Because there was this one lady who made that difference to these girls.
Motivated her then.
Absolutely. So therefore, what I say is giving them all the opportunities that youth everywhere have is what will take us forward.
So, madam, I think let's close down on this positive note. You have been amazing. And the mantra of MAP, which you have given, I think large number of youngsters will follow. So, thanks for joining this discussion. We sincerely appreciate, madam.
Yeah, but I'd like to give one message in the end. I know you're closing up, but I think
Yes, go ahead, madam.
this juncture where we are all in a lockdown, this is the time for youth to use that time very effectively. And two things that I find among the youngsters, they're not that is, one is a fitness, because I feel it the mantra of a fit mind in a fit body. So using time to do that, using time to reflect, the practice of reflection. What do I want to do? The using time to read things, because you're so busy in one track of doing your profession that you do not have you don't open up your mind to lateral thinking. And I think this COVID, and we can, if all in all its dark clouds, this silver lining that it has given us the time to cherish, time to think, time to reflect, and time to become fitter and stronger. I think this is the message I'd like to end on.
I think this is a fantastic message, ma'am. Thanks for talking to us. Sincerely appreciate.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.